And in fact, I think I'm going to take this class in a different order than I took the earlier one. Okay, a little bit of housekeeping to begin with. Today we're going to do the intro to NPT. Tuesday of next week we're going to do Texas statutes. We're almost done with Texas cases, so Texas statutes next week. Thursday we're going to review the take-home NPT, which you will receive tonight. Pay attention. You're going to bring a hard copy next Thursday. You must bring a hard copy to class next Thursday. That's the only way you're going to submit it to me is by hard copy. And you can bring it to class. What was I going to say? Oh, the good news is this is 75 minutes out of your life. Total. Total. You do not have 76 minutes to work on this assignment. You have 75 minutes and that's it. You have to time yourself, but if you give yourself more than 75 minutes, then you won't know how you're going to perform on the in-class NPT that we're going to do not next Thursday, like I said last time, but the Tuesday after that. We really only have 75 minutes to get the whole thing done. I'll explain more when we talk about the NPT in a few minutes. So not Tuesday next week, but the Tuesday after that is the in-class NPT. ICW Texas cases due Saturday, advisory letter due Sunday via twin. Any questions about what's coming up, what we're supposed to be doing? Sample advisory letters on the class website. So you can look at some there. If I have time tomorrow, I'll try to bang out a couple more for Memo 1 and Memo 2 from last semester. The one that I put up there that I wrote yesterday or the day before, you all did the falling asleep in Louisiana while driving. So I wrote a letter to our client in that case. And that's a go-by you can use for the one you're writing this weekend. Just follow that format and you'll be good. Don't do any additional research for the one this weekend, right? Just go with what you already have, condense it down to 1,000 words. I'm mainly looking for format, and perfection. It's only 1,000 words. And at our law firm, we do not send things out of the firm that are less than perfect. So make it perfect for me. Yes?
Is this part of our memo grade or is this part of our homework grade?
It's part of your other assignments grade. Yeah. Good. All right. So is the NPT, other assignments. So Texas cases review. I think we got through most of this. Green book. The important stuff is in the gray boxes. Look at the gray boxes. Know where they are. Put lots of tabs in because the index is lousy. Remember this stuff? Okay, it's in the slideshow that you have. I updated the one. It's also in the one for today. The important stuff is here. If it's a criminal case and it says do not publish, it has no precedential value. Don't embarrass yourself by going down to the courthouse and arguing that some unpublished criminal case controls the outcome of your case, because it doesn't. Can you cite it? Sure you can. You can cite anything. Does it have precedential value? No. Does that mean it's useless? No. Why? Remind me. Why would you cite a case that has no precedential value? Persuasion. Or just give an example. You're not citing a foot rule, but for an example of how the rule applies. Good. But the court's not bound to follow it. It's just persuasive. Let's do this one. 849. This is for 100 points. 849, 30, 64. For those of you who are relying on the screen up front, there's the case. When you want me to click on anything, you tell me what you want to click on and I'll click on it.
$849 third or second?
849, what does it say up there? 849
Second.
Second, sorry, second. you've got a teammate, okay. Got it? Okay, yeah, interesting. You've got some problems there with your subsequent history and some other technical aspects. I mean, it's pretty far down the road, though, gotta say. Who's am I looking at here? Oh, gotta italicize. Missing some stuff there. Give you a hint here in a second if nobody gets it. Okay, missing some stuff. Let's look at the history of this case. Here's a hint. Here's the history. All this writ granted, we don't indicate that for a Texas case if the higher court actually takes action. So writ granted, that means they took it, and then writ withdrawn, I don't know why. Writ granted anyway, that means they took it up, right? Discretionary appeal, the court is going to consider it, and then the court actually handed down an opinion. So forget about all the writ and pet stuff. Now we're back into subsequent history blue book style. Okay, so if the court actually acts on a petition or a writ and issues its own opinion, that's what you indicate as your subsequent history, not the Texas style, but the blue book style. Y'all getting pretty close there, but so this is that is never going to be right. Okay, Mr. Arden. Because everything there is italicized, which is not right. And you've got some blue book 10.7 problems, subsequent history problems. Okay, so what I have so it doesn't all go into the parenthetical now. It's blue book style subsequent history, right? Alright, you sit there. I can read it.
I'll look here. I like yours better.
Oh, y'all are so close. You're so close. You have a T6 problem. Up here? Yes. I can't tell what you crossed out. You have a 10.7 problem. Up here? It's 10.7 problem. Okay, you ready? I'm gonna It's all right. I've got your hands. I know you got it right now. For everybody else, here's a hint, right? Look. See, I don't know what's happening there. See that? And see that? Yeah.
Oh. Yes.
Okay, did you fix it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, they got it. They got all the bugs worked out. Okay, let's look at the answer that we talked about. Okay, there's the first case name, right? This is the one we're citing. I think everybody got that. It's pretty easy. That part's super simple. Easy, right? You gotta have the Austin in there because Texas Austin. You always have the city date, right? Right? It's vacated sub nom. I don't know why that is blue. Ah, because the computer's crashing, of course. Okay, so you were supposed to tell me, this was going to show up after you told me, that when you have the same year, right, you got to drop the year of the first case because they were both decided in 1993. So get rid of that one. And there's another problem up here. You can spot that. Texas. Explain.
If you have it in the first, if you have it in the last one, you leave it in the first one, you think?
Oh, you mean text here?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, let's see. The rule for when you can drop the state is what?
Oh, if it's in the reporter.
If it's in the reporter. Okay, so up here we've got to have TexApp because it's not in the reporter there. And down here it's not in the reporter either to indicate that that's the Supreme Court of Texas, so we got to have it there. And you're saying, well, what else could it possibly be but the Supreme Court of Texas? It could have been, well, not Southwest Second, but yeah, it could have been, that's a court that could be appealed. How about if it were an older case, Texas Commission of Appeals? Possible. Court of Criminal Appeals. All right. Not really possible, but who knows? So we got to tell people that it's the Texas Supreme Court. Mr. Barry.
Shouldn't there not be a comma after sub nom?
Oh, there should not be a comma after sub nom. Very good. And that's 10.7.2. If you have sub nom, even if it's a phrase that ordinarily would have a comma after it, you put sub nom there, you drop the comma. Very good.
One other, Public Utilities Commission, T8 says it's abbreviated PUC.
Does it really? Let's take a look.
Page 434. Not the Office of Public Utility Counsel, but the Public Utility Commission and the latter case.
That's an interesting catch. You know what? I'm going to give your team 100 points just for pointing that out. What he's saying is that Public Utilities Council should be abbreviated
No,
PUC.
that
Sorry,
one is
Public
correct.
Utility Commission
Yes.
should be abbreviated PUC because it is some kind of quasi-judiciary governmental body, right? So it has its own special abbreviation under T8. I'll go with that. That's worth some points. So Team Godwin gets the big points. Well, 100 points. You know, I'll give your team 100 points for pointing that out too, because I've been using this slide for a while and no one has ever pointed that out before, so good job. Questions about that? How close do we get? Here's what it looks like, all put together. This is what you can expect to see on the citation exam. Just like this. No, don't be there. What's the best way to get ready for the citation exam? Practice citation exams. Where do you get practice citation exams? On Murphy's LARW, not Twin, on my Google Drive, right? You got lots of practice exams for you there. Okay. Any questions about how to cite Texas cases? Yes.
Is there a different type of abbreviation for Texas cases?
Is there a T6 for Texas cases? No, we use the Blue Book T6, T10, other stuff. Yeah.
It's not working on CW.
Oh, really? Send me the example. so that I'll know which one. You know, ICW is not perfect. So who knows? Questions, Texas cases? Going once, going twice? By the end of the semester, you'll be Zen masters of Texas case citation. You've got to be, because how many people are going to practice law in Texas? Okay.
I have a question going back to the 10.4, because I went and read it, and it says that it's a court name. The Public Utility Commission is a court name.
Yeah, so
And I went back and looked at the T4, and I couldn't find where it described, in the Public Utilities Commission, don't they have their own courts in certain states? So it's not a case name, it's a court name? That's where I went first when I thought it was PUC.
uh-oh.
Well, they're a party, it's not the name of the court.
I'm sorry, what page is that on?
Court names. T7 is court names.
So, all right, let me show you the problem that I'm having. My blue book is falling apart, so I now have pages taped in, and my T6 is taped in over whatever page it is we're looking at. We're looking at T8.
No, T7.
T7, okay, that's why I
It says
can't
court
see it.
names, so I went back, that's where I flipped first, I thought it was PUC on the first time. But the Public Utilities Commission has a court of its own.
Ah, so you're saying that that would only be abbreviated if it were the parenthetical because it's the court that decided the case.
Is that right?
Let's look up
I went to
10.4.
I went to 10.4 to look.
I did.
Take
You
away
all
those
have
100
stumped the
points.
professor. I have no idea. But you all need to come up with an answer because you're in danger of losing your points. He might be right. He might be right.
He's
Court-
stumped.
Every case citation must
Sorry, I
indicate
want my
which
points.
court decided the case. The PUC did not decide that case, right? Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Not only is he
Bonus
right, but he's taking 100 points off. I'm not giving you an extra 100. You're losing theirs. That, Mr. Artem, that was an outstanding observation. Unfortunately, Mr. Godwin won up you, or maybe you the other one. So good. I love it. Competitive blue booking. Yeah. All right.
I honestly thought, is this what we're seeing?
That's all the time we have for citation one tonight.
Point at them.
The next items on the agenda are demand letters, and we're going to do some advisory letter practice. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to skip to the MPT. The reason that I'm going to do that is I know that you all have to get most of your work done for this class over the weekends, right? So I can't wait till next Tuesday to explain the MPT to you and then say, you know, it's only going to take 75 minutes to get it done by Thursday. Okay, you don't have 75 minutes between Tuesday and Thursday. So let's talk about the MPT right now, and then we'll go back and pick up letters tonight if time permits, and later if not. So, everybody cool with that? Okay, here we go. Mastering the MPT. The MPT is the multi-state performance test. Mostly I'm going to talk about it, and I'll try to advance the slides from time to time, but I'm going to have to look at the slides to remind me what I need to say about this. Multi-state performance test. Day one of the bar exam. You get 2 of these essays that you have to write. You have 90 minutes for each one. It is a timed writing exercise. It is very close to what you've been doing in this class for the last semester and a half. Usually what you are asked to do is write an objective office memorandum. Here is it can be other things, but usually it's an office memorandum. This is a chart that shows what kind of document bar examinees had to write for the MPT for the years 97 to 2010. I couldn't find a more recent chart. Persuasive brief comes up a fair amount of the time, but objective memo, it's almost always objective memos. In some years it's 2 objective memos. Occasionally it's a letter to opposing counsel. Might be a demand letter, something like that. An opinion letter would be a letter to a client. Closing argument. Wow, imagine having to draft a closing argument that you'd stand up and give to a jury. That sounds like fun in 90 minutes. Interrogatories, right? You couldn't even do that if I asked you to do it now, but you don't even know what I'm talking about. A will, you can't do that either. Cause of action, no, you can't do that. So what's the MPT going to be a week and a half from now? It's going to be an office memo because it's about the only thing you know how to write. Right, okay, so kind of giving it away there. But that's what the bar examiners are usually asking bar examinees to write anyway. So mostly an office memo, but sometimes they throw you a curveball and it's going to be something else. Okay, so why are we practicing this now? And why is it even tested on the bar exam?
Hazing?
That's what law school's about, right? 3 years of hazing, very little education, so you can get your law license, but we have other reasons.
Measure how well you can do
Yeah. Can you actually do what lawyers do? Can you crank out a memo or a letter, and can you do it under time pressure? Going in knowing nothing about the law and nothing about the facts. Can you essentially do a closed universe memo in 90 minutes? That's what they're testing. It's a good test of fundamental lawyering skills. Can you read fast enough? Can you manage your time to get the task done? Can you follow instructions? Can you understand the law? Can you read facts and figure out which facts are important? And then, can you write it all down in a way that makes sense to the reader? In other words, can you do the things that we've been working on for the past semester and a half? The added challenge here is, can you do it in 90 minutes? Or in this class, 75 minutes. Now, don't let that freak you out, because we simplify the problem, right? I know that when you're done with law school, you'll be able to knock these out in 90 minutes, no problem. But you're not done with law school yet. So even if it were a 90-minute problem, I'd give you more time, like, I don't know, 2 hours. Well, we've only got 75 minutes, so I can't give you more time. What we're going to do instead is simplify the problem so there are fewer issues and fewer facts for you to talk about. And it's very doable in 75 minutes. Okay, so it's the first day of the bar exam, and they want to know if you can do the kind of tasks that lawyers can do. What we have found is, if you don't do well on that first day of the bar exam, you're probably going to fail the bar exam, even though this is only 10%. And you could skip that day, and theoretically you could still pass the bar exam. But if you do poorly on the NPT, you're probably going to do poorly on the rest. And the reason there, I'm not really sure why that is, but I think the reason is that if you can't think like a lawyer well enough to do the NPT, then you can't think like a lawyer well enough to pass the rest of the bar exam. It's not just memorization, right? You have to be able to solve problems. Even multiple choice problems are, can you think like a lawyer, right? It's not just pick the best answer. It's can you solve this problem and then pick the best answer. So that's why we're focusing on this at this relatively early stage of your law school career. Texas bar exam, California has its own version, but almost every other state uses the standard NPT. It's very much like the closed memos that you had last semester. They will give you all the research that you need, the cases, statutes, legislative history, whatever it is they want you to rely on, they will give it to you. I will give it to you with the NPT. Go ahead and hand out that sample NPT. Mr. Foreman, please. You have a limited amount of time, that's the twist. Practice type documents, they might ask you to write a memo, a will, a brief. It's going to be a memo in this class. It's the only thing you know how to write. The only thing you've had an opportunity to write 3 times. So these are the skills that they're checking. Fact analysis. Can you pick out the important facts? Legal analysis. Can you synthesize a rule? Can you extract the rule from the cases? If you've got a statute, can you get the rule out of the statute and then use the cases to explain what the statute really means? Problem solving. Do you know how to go through the process of actually applying the law to the relevant facts and coming up with an answer? Right? And showing your work so that somebody else can understand what you're doing. Sometimes there are resolutions of ethical dilemmas. Go ahead and open your packet. What's the first thing in your packet after page of instructions? Nope, before that, you skipped something.
Contents.
Table of contents. If you open up an MPT, you look at the table of contents, and they show you in the list there is a citation to a rule of professional conduct or a rule of professional ethics, like the rules I've been showing you throughout this semester. If you see that, then you know, oh, there's going to be an ethical dilemma that I'm going to have to resolve. One of the questions is going to be, has somebody violated one of these ethical rules? If you don't have one of those, then there's probably not an ethical issue. Just be on the lookout for that kind of thing. They're testing whether you can communicate effectively, right? Maybe you can get the right answer, but can you explain that answer to somebody else? If you do the things that we've been doing for the last semester and a half, the answer is yes. Organization and management of a legal task. Really what this should be is time management. Can you divvy up your time in a way that's going to allow you to get the job done in a limited amount of time that you have? I got to say that all these MPTs, whether you get 90 minutes or 75 minutes or however long, it's a struggle, right? You're not going to have as much time as you want, and you're going to have to make every minute count, just like when you're practicing law, right? It's no time to daydream and goof off. You're going to be hitting it every minute, hopefully. That's what your boss wants you to do anyway. Reality might be a little bit different. Okay, there are 2 parts to every MPT. The first is the file, the second is the library. You've got both parts there. Let's talk about what's in the file. Oh, go ahead and open up to the first page of the file. The first thing in every file is the document that tells you what you're supposed to do. And usually, I'm going to say 100% of the time, because I've never seen anything else, it's going to be a memorandum either from a judge or from your senior partner or from some corporate client telling you what you're supposed to be doing. Okay? It's an assigning memo, just like you've seen in everything that we've done, every major project. It tells you what you're supposed to do. You are going to read that document very carefully because it has the instructions. It tells you what you're supposed to be doing. You need to figure out what the question is. What question am I supposed to be answering? Sometimes there's more than one question. So figure out what the question is. Figure out what kind of document you're supposed to produce. Is it an objective memo? Is it a persuasive brief? Is it a letter? Figure out if there are any special instructions like format requirements. For example, if you were told to write a letter, who is the letter to? And whose signature is going to go at the bottom of the letter? For instance, the senior partner might say, write a letter for my signature. So the bar examiner is going to be looking to see whose name you put at the end of the letter where the signature goes. Did you put your name or did you put the boss's name? If the memo asks you for headings and subheadings, like if it says, I want a 3-part memo, and for each of the elements I want you to have a descriptive heading. You better put your descriptive headings in there. For whatever kind of document you're going to write, it should look like the document is supposed to look. For instance, for a memo, you're going to have memorandum at the top. You're going to have to, from, date, regarding, and then you're going to start typing. If it's supposed to be a letter, you're going to have something that looks a little bit like a letterhead at the top, and then the addressee, the date, regarding line, and then it's going to look like a letter with a signature block at the end. So not only do they want you to produce the content, but they want it to look like the document they're asking you to write. And yes, that is worth points on the grader's checklist. Memo is supposed to look like a memo. Anyway, that's the first page of the file, and probably I'm getting, yes, ahead of myself. Let's talk about the library for just a second. All the facts and the instructions are in the file, and all the law is in the library. Okay? So the file, this is what we were talking about. So you've got that assigning memo is the first thing. It's the first thing you're going to read. You're going to read it very carefully. In the handout that I circulated earlier this week, which was the MPT primer or whatever I called it, it said the second thing you should do. Hold on. This is not my slideshow. This is why I can't remember what's coming next. Okay. I just want to keep more or less in track of what the slides say. Memos, transcripts, letters,